Bonjour à tous, hello everyone, welcome back to the French Made Easy podcast. This is episode number 177, numéro 177. Okay, so in episode 168, we talked about the mute H, le H, muet in French, and we went through a list of French words that start with a mute H. And today's episode is a follow-up from that lesson. And today we are talking about the aspirated H, or le H, aspiré in French. And I'll explain what that is in just a minute. Now, as usual, before we start our lesson, if you are new to the podcast, welcome. Please make sure you have your lessons cheat sheet in front of you so you can follow along and see how the words are written. And when you finish this lesson, you can head over to the French Made Easy exercise library to download your lessons exercises and practice what you've learned today. You'll find all the links in the episode notes on your podcast platform. All right, so just a little reminder from last time. In French, the letter H is always silent. So you never pronounce it. But even though it is silent, there are two types of H in French, and each type will impact or not pronunciation. So the mute H, le H muet, we covered this one in episode 168. Now this type of H allows liaison and elision. Now if you don't know what the liaison and the elision are, I explained it briefly in episode 168. Otherwise, I explain it in detail in my course, French Pronunciation Made Easy. Now, the other type of H, the aspirated H, le H aspiré, that's the one we are talking about today. Now, this type of H blocks both liaison and elision. So it doesn't allow it. There's no liaison, there's no elision when you have an aspirated H. So let me give you an example. We are going to translate beans. So bin in the plural. So I need the word les, the article les, and I need the word haricots. Les haricots. Now, if we were to do a liaison, if it was a mute H, like I taught you last time, we'd say les haricots. Now, because the H from the word haricot is an aspirated H, it blocks the liaison. So I can't say les haricots, no liaison. So I have to say les haricots. Do you hear the difference? Les haricots, if we were to do a liaison. Now there's no liaison here. It's blocked because it's an aspirated H. So I say les haricots. And by the way, for anyone who cares about beans, in France, there's been a long-standing rumor about the letter H in the word haricot. Now, some people were saying that it had switched to being a mute H at some point, years and years ago, and that now we could say les haricots instead of les haricots. Well, I actually checked with l'Académie Française, which is the French Academy. It's basically the authority on what's correct in the French language. And in fact, that rumor is false. So the H in haricot is indeed an aspirated H. So that was just a little note for those who cares about the word haricot. All right, now let me give you an example where the elision is blocked. So for the word X, the word X is H, la, H, la, H. Now if we were to do an elision, we'd say lâche, L apostrophe, and then the word H. But because the H from the word H is an aspirated H, I can't do an elision. So I say la H, not lâche, la H. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, I teach the concept of the liaison and the elision in my course, French Pronunciation Made Easy, for those who are not familiar with it. All right, so now that you know what an aspirated H is, and that is, again, that it blocks liaison and elision, I'm going to give you a list of common French words starting with an aspirated H. All right, so we start with the word haricot, le haricot. And that means bean, le haricot. Elle mange des haricots verts. She's eating green beans. Elle mange des haricots verts. Attention, don't say, elle mange des haricots verts. Elle mange des haricots verts. Le héros, hero. Le héros. Tous les héros ont été applaudis. Now, attention, don't say tous les zéros. It means all the zeros. Tous les héros ont été applaudis. Next one, la haine, hatred. La haine. La haine ne résout rien. Hatred doesn't solve anything. La haine ne résout rien. Le hasard, that's chance or coincidence. Le hasard. Ce n'est pas un hasard. It's not a coincidence. Ce n'est pas un hasard. Le hérisson, hedgehog. Le hérisson. Le hérisson est un animal nocturne. The hedgehog is a nocturnal animal. Le hérisson est un animal nocturne. La hache, axe. La hache. Le tronc a été coupé à la hache. The trunk was cut with an axe. Le tronc a été coupé à la hache. Le hangar, that's the shed. Le hangar. Les outils sont dans le hangar. The tools are in the shade. Les outils sont dans le hangar. Le hall, that's the lobby. Le hall. On se retrouve dans le hall de l'hôtel. Let's meet in the hotel lobby. On se retrouve dans le hall de l'hôtel. Le hammam, that's the hammam, the steam room. Le hammam. Ils vont dans un hammam chaque semaine. They go to the steam room every week. Ils vont dans un hammam chaque semaine. Le handicap, disability. Le handicap. Il parle ouvertement de son handicap. He speaks openly about his disability. Il parle ouvertement de son handicap. And last one, le hockey. Hockey. Le hockey. Mon frère regarde souvent le hockey à la télévision. My brother often watches hockey on TV. Mon frère regarde souvent le hockey à la télé. All right, so that's it for our sentences. Now let's do a quick review of our list of French words, starting with an aspirated H. Please repeat after me. Le haricot, le héros, la haine, le hasard, le hérisson, la hache, le hangar, le hall, le hammam, le hamburger, le handicap, le hockey. Et voilà, now you know some common French words starting with an aspirated H. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Now you probably understand why it's really hard for me to pronounce the H in English. Thank you so much for listening. I will chat with you next week. À bientôt, bye. Now, before you go, if you are just starting your French grammar journey and you are not sure where to begin, I've created something just for you. It is called the French Grammar Essentials Checklist for Beginners, and it will help you keep track of what you already learned, what you need to focus on next, and how to stay organized as you go. You can download the checklist from the show notes. It is completely free. Go grab it and I'll see you in the next episode. À bientôt. Bye.